Growing up, we did not have a Bible in our Puerto Rican family. When I got saved, I realized I want to know you. I want to know you. I knew religion. I knew tradition. I knew that as growing up, but I wanted a relationship, and it was His Spirit. Hello, friend. My name is Melendez. I was born in 1940 in New York City in a family of five. I'm the oldest. We're all a year apart. And we lived in my early years in New York City. And then we moved out to Long Island. And that's where I grew up, went to school there, high school, and graduated from there. I look back now over the years, and the family, we are Puerto Rican, and my dad was always a hard worker. He always worked two jobs as long as I can remember growing up. But he loved music, and he's always singing. And back in those days, we had a radio show called Texaco Hour. It came from New York, and it was the Metropolitan Opera being broadcast over the radio. My dad would sing, and that was one of his ambitions, was to be an opera singer. And then when his teacher passed away, that vision, that goal was out of his life. But he was always working, loved his family, built our house, and he only went to fourth grade. And he really, I look back, there are a lot of things about my life that I didn't like growing up, but there are a lot of things that now I look back as an elderly man, knowing how rich we were. I would always sing things like, hey, we're a poor family. I'd get a flannel shirt and a pair of jeans in August, and that would be what I wore just about every day to school growing up. But I look back now and I realize, all the times that I said that we were poor, but we weren't poor. I look back now, I realize we were rich because I had a loving father. I had a tender, loving mom. We had wonderful times together, even with very little. But the one thing I look back now and I realize that my dad really influenced my life. And as I grew up, I went to high school, played sports, and I was involved in music, and music really molded my life, playing instruments, singing. And as I grew older and went to college, I realized that music was what I wanted to do. And so I enjoyed so much making music that I would make music, even I would take things and sing the menu. When I was playing clubs, I'd be bored and I'd sing the menu. I would play the menu. Now I look back as a musician, I realized the calling of God on my life was to be a psalmist, was to play the songs of heaven, the melodies of heaven. And I look and I realize how much my mom and dad influenced me. And now I know that my calling, my deepest calling now in my elderly years is to raise up minstrels, to raise up the next generation of worshipers of Jesus. Now, when that moment came that just turned my life around, all right, from going through a divorce and remarrying, and now I've been married 54 years. Here I had several degrees, and I have a master's degree and a bachelor's degree, and I was working on a doctorate's degree, all right? But I still couldn't feed my family and pay my bills. So I would play gigs. I would play on the weekends or clubs, and I would bring in more money than what I went to school for so many years. And so my big goal in life was to be a millionaire by the age of 40. So we went into the Amway business, and I started, my wife and I, we would see couples holding hands, couples that were really tight together, all right? And during those early years, I realized there was something missing. Jim Baker was one of the speakers at a big Amway rally where they had a church service, and he just beckoned my soul, and it was like the Lord was saying, Gil, come home. Gil, come home. And so I answered the call, and from that moment on, I started hanging around people that really influenced my walk with the Lord. And as I've grew in the Lord, I realized more and more that the things of my past that God imprinted. I have a scar here, a scar that I went through a glass when I was 2 years old. And the Lord, my mom wanted to cut the skin off. And when I was there in the Bronx, the doctor was sewing me up and saying, what a good boy you are, all right? And he told my mom, says, you know, it's a good thing you didn't cut that off, because my hand would have grown like that. All right, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do now with music that he has put inside of my belly. And so I look at that, and it's a constant reminder of his faithfulness. All right. He's been faithful through my life. He's been good through my life. Even when I wasn't good, even when I wasn't faithful, he was faithful. And I declare to the next generation through music and through lavishly loving on the Lord. All my life, you have been faithful. All my life, you have been so good. You've been good to me, Lord. Surely goodness and mercy has followed me all the days of my life. When I wasn't good, you're always good. When I wasn't faithful, you were faithful. And so with every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. We bought Bibles and we just started reading, meditating, singing. I would take the Bible and put it on my music rack at the keyboard, and I would just play the scriptures and pray the scriptures and sing the scriptures. And little by little, that word, that it wasn't a book, it was a person of that person, Jesus, then penetrated the deepest yearnings of my heart. And from that point on, I realized that person, that's the person I was always yearning for, thirsting for, hungering for. And now, as I approach the ends of my life, I don't know how many years the Lord will give me. But in any case, my passion is to live that word, walk that word, breathe that word, and affect another generation, the next generation of young people. And that remains my passion.